Crypto payments. Let's get into it today. I think you're going to want to watch this one for sure because it's going to break down how crypto payments are being integrated into the landscape of maybe Web 2, Web 3, all of the things that you're probably experiencing right now. We may actually see some crypto solutions out there very soon. We're going to break down some news, give you guys a kind of an update on all these good things. My name is Paul Barrow. Welcome back into Tech Path. Let's get into it. And I want to thank our sponsor, and that is Tangem. If you're looking at long-term holding and you want to get into self-custody, which I would suggest that you do right now. If you're on exchanges, you should not be. You should be getting your assets onto self-custody, especially if you're not doing any kind of trading. But it's very easy. Now you can do it with a card through Tangem's wallet. It's a hardware device, so to speak, via a card. Very easy to get to. They have a couple of options available. If you go over to their purchase page, you can get the new Tangem wallet, which of course gives you the optional seed phrase, or you can go to the classic if you don't want to mess with seed phrases, go that route. Cool thing, make sure, by the way, get the 3-card set, you're going to thank me later. Cool thing is you get a 10% additional discount by just using our code down below. So try that out, get into self-custody, it's what you need to do. All right, so let's talk about wallets in general, all right? And there are a few types. Now, most people have used MetaMask, a lot of people have maybe now used Phantom, etc. MetaMask came out with some news. We're thrilled to announce that our US users will now be able to on-ramp to crypto using Stripe. Now, this is a big deal because there's a lot of opportunity here in terms of e-commerce, businesses, and especially, I think, around consumers that maybe use crypto. One of the things that I started to do was I dove in a little deeper on this because, hey, we use Stripe. So I thought, well, all right, maybe this is something we'll start to try to implement. And I got into it, and here's what I find. Basically, what they're doing is in the account settings, you can go in and actually set up to start earning crypto. And you basically provide a typical wallet address, but it's crypto wallet, but it's on the Polygon network. So you've got to be able to do that. It's USDC. So it's all interconnected that way. So that is the one thing that I would say, not that I don't like Polygon, it's not the case. I'm just saying that there's a lot of hoops for businesses to jump through that do not know anything about crypto. This is going to require somebody to do some research. It's not an easy, super sexy UX, all those problems that do exist out there. Here was, of course, what Stripe is using, which is their service called Link. And this essentially is the fees that you're going to be paying for all of the services, which is at 2.9 typical merchant fees out there, but you're going to also get the 30-cent transaction fee, which is, also again typical of how Stripe does it. If you have, extensive prices on some of your products, when I say extensive, something over $25, okay, that might work for you, but for a lot of people, anything under $10 is going to be a little bit pricey to be able to get in there and use a service like this. I want to go to a clip because when you look at e-commerce and the future of how payments are going to be used, one of the things that I think has to happen for regular businesses to start to experiment with all this stuff is the ease of use. If you do not have the ease of use, then you've already hit a big wall in terms of adoption. I want to go to a clip here talking about Solana Pay, and this was over a year ago. Listen in.
And so we started the Stripe crypto team to help build tools for Web3 developers specifically.
And when we spoke to merchants, in fact, the things they told us was the things that matter most are payments and customer acquisition.
We are so excited to be the first ever pilot partner with Stripe's newest product, OnRamp. The fundamental mission that drives our day-to-day engineering decisions was understanding how we can build for a performant, seamless, and elegant consumer experience.
All right, so I have another clip that jumps into Solana's roadmap and the things they've done in the last year that is getting way out there in terms of advancements. Listen in.
Today I got to show you our newest deepen example using LoRaWAN sensors. It's a LoRaWAN chest, and as soon as I open this sensor here, the chest is opened and the state of the program will be changed. So now the chest is open. You can see I can now loot this chest for some juicy DevNet Sol. Now I have looted the chest, and now I can also close the chest again. So I close the sensor, it will send a signal to the closest Helium hotspot. Now it's already closed, and now it flips a switch in the program, and I'm not allowed to mint this anymore.
All right, so that I think that's just one example of many that I think are going to be coming with more Solana Pay integrations. But the use case scenario that is going to play into this for retailers, for what will be known as, kind of the Web3 business uptake that will happen in the coming years, really maybe coming months, I think is going to be really looking at Solana as one of the key factors going forward. So they are really light years ahead of everyone. Let's talk a little bit more around the strategy of why Solana is doing what they're doing and what they're trying to achieve. This was Anatoly talking about Stripe specifically. Listen in.
I'm actually more focused on trying to do stuff that's obvious today. I think that's just like really, really, really important to try to get users to go do the things that already work at scale. And those are payments, very, very simple kind of thing. It's kind of like became super apparent to me. This in crypto Twitter, just like me, I signed up for the rewards program, and it's like a very painful process to actually get through Stripe. Like you got to send a bunch of identification, give up all your addresses and names to get like $20-30 a month, right, from Maxis rewards. And it's a pain in the butt to use, and your money's kind of sitting in Stripe, pain to withdraw it and like actually get to use it. Developer built this like USDC gated email thing called SolInked. It takes 10 minutes to set up, like not even 10 minutes. It was like seconds. And it's just such a better experience for anyone that generates user content.
So what Anatoly was talking about there was this right here, which is the app called SolInked. And the idea is pretty simple, like he mentioned, to be able to integrate with a lot of these creator type tools. But even think about this, fast fashion, e-commerce, all these companies that are spinning up a new product or things, they have to go in and you have to launch really kind of a profile etiquette within the actual Stripe, project. And the problem with that is you've got to connect, like he said, all sorts of identification. In many cases, you got to get authorized, then being able to get that out of there. It's a pain. So I think as we see more and more businesses trying to figure out ease of use, obviously crypto is going to be one of the easiest things to be able to use. This will be a good example of how this could be a huge going forward. All right, so one of the key things that we saw that really saw some uptake here was this auto-confirm feature, and I'll show you an example of that. But Phantom developed this feature. It's one of the problems I think that a lot of people face, overall. If you think about it, I'll show you actually. Let me kind of go to the next tweet here. So this was just showing kind of the validation of just getting this auto-confirm feature built into it and how quickly it saw uptake. So just one game on Solana now doing as much in terms of transactions than all of Polygon. That is the power of UX. All right, so moving on here, this tweet right here by Coinbase Wallet, excited to support the EIP 6963, which drastically improves the UX of browser wallets. This is where you have that problem where this happens right here, then this happens, then that happens, and then this happens. You get the picture. The problem is that in many cases, the browsers are kind of fighting over that. So what this solution solved within the Phantom connection is you had this very slick element of being able to actually go in and select the browser wallet that you wanted to use. So that I think is going to be another reason. Again, remember, smooth, UX, ease of use, all those things that don't cause a problem for whether it's use or onboarding. Either way, that makes a big difference going forward. All right, so I want to jump over to another clip here. This is David Marcus talking a little bit more about Bitcoin in general and its connection to wallets and some of the things that have to happen in terms of payments. Listen in.
We really haven't fixed consumer problems at scale. And I think one of the reasons is that if you're ideological about it, and that's it, like that's your whole drive is ideology, all the currencies other than Bitcoin will die, then you're not going to solve the real world problems that are in the way of mass market adoption. Because you're not going to want to build interoperability with existing payment rails. You're not going to want to build compliance services that enable regulated entities to be on the network. For BlackRock to come in and issue a spot Bitcoin ETF you shouldn't be opposed to that. It's going to enable millions more people to own Bitcoin, care about Bitcoin, and
do they actually own it though? I think that's a fair question. Do they actually own it?
But would they care about it?
I would push back on that. Well, you were going to.
Yeah, I would definitely push back on that.
I mean, listen, I like Peter. I think what Bitcoin did is very important podcast, but what David Marcus was getting at is really to the root of Bitcoin maxis, and that, we'll call them just Bitcoiners in general, they don't like to be called maxis, is that you're so enamored with the idea of what Bitcoin is as opposed to what it can do and all of the things that it can solve, meaning digital payments and truly a shift in the next idea of finance in general. So I think Marcus is onto something in a big way if we could just get past that. I just don't know that that's going to happen. If you think about that, here's what Trezor did. Get ready. We've got big reveals getting ready to jump in. And of course, the big reveal was pretty simple. Let me play this next clip for you so you can find out.
As we celebrate this 10-year journey, we are thrilled to introduce the Bitcoin-only Trezor. It comes with Bitcoin-only firmware and is available in a humble variety of Bitcoin, not crypto, orange color.
All right, so that's, again, playing. Why play to a minimum audience? Like, not that it's a vast minimum audience, a lot of people own Bitcoin, but that's just narrowing the scope so much. I think those are the challenges that we face out there, and I think Marcus hit it on the head right there. If you are thinking about going that direction, just as I said, obviously Tangem, a big sponsor of our channel here, but remember, you can go either way. You can go with C-phrase, without C-phrase, red, blue pill, you take it, you choose. But that's the flexibility that you need to be able to move to the next generation of payments. So just remember that. It is not a Bitcoin and nothing else kind of scenario world. There are so many more opportunities here moving into crypto payments. It's going to be a very important one for sure. I want to jump over to our next clip really quick and take a look at that one. This is going to be how Marcus, remember he's from Lightspark, guy that's been in the industry, not the blockchain industry, but TradFi industry and also fintech industry for quite some time. Listen to what he had to say about how to fix this.
No, I think scaling issues, if we're talking about scaling to hundreds of millions, billions of people, are going to be real. People are worried about this. I'm actively worried about this because we're building a business. And I think the problem is right now, there's not for the core developers a really good reason, a compelling reason to work really aggressively towards that. When we had ordinals like blowing up L1, where the network was heavily congested, fees went through the roof, that faded kind of away. Like we're not in this crisis mode of L1 being so congested and the mempool not being able to keep up. So there's no compelling reasons for the core devs to want to add a few opcodes that would enable you to do things that would scale Bitcoin really well. But I think that once we're faced with that, and it becomes an existential threat, actually the network is doing what the original white paper has set out to do, which is peer-to-peer payments at scale for the world, for everyone, for hundreds of millions of people. You're on that trajectory. It's about to happen, and you need to add one or two opcodes to enable you to actually scale the thing, and you're going to be, no, I don't like it. We're not doing it. We're just going to let this thing die. I don't see it. And then we'll have very good, substantial conversations with the core devs on what are the most practical ways to scale L1 to support the kind of volume that's coming. And then we'll do it, and then we'll be fine.
I am looking at this interview, and I think that David Marcus is on some sort of campaign right now to try to shift and change Bitcoin, which is going to be one of the largest challenges we face. And he is right. Scaling into crypto payments, this is going to be one of the things that has and must happen. And obviously Lightspark, David Marcus, knows this. He's recognized it and he understands it. So I think he's doing a campaign out here to try to convince the Bitcoiners to kind of maybe make that move into the next generation of where crypto payments will go. The problem is that you have Solana Pay and projects like that are already at light speed, no coin, light speed. And I think that's the change that we will see truly in the area of adoption around crypto payments. So this is all kind of boiling into one area. Now, granted, we don't see a lot of uptake right now because the markets are in, these deep bear markets. But once we start to see these plugins starting to work, and this next cycle will be the one where true crypto payments start to break the ice. It's going to be a big iceberg to get to, but it's going to begin, and it will happen slowly at first and then all at once. Who's going to be the lead player? I'd love to get your input. Make sure and drop some comments down below and smash the like button if you like these kind of breakdowns. It's one of the things we try to do here on the show. If you're not in the Diamond Circle, make sure and get in now. It's a free service and a free email list where you get additional content, one that I put out as well as my own show. Over there, I do a bunch of other stuff. You can join in just by clicking the link down below. If you want to catch me out there on X, it's @Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.